All right. We are here at the GSMC Sports Network to give you the best damn wrestling podcast in the sports entertainment industry. Here at the GSMC Sports Network, we give you guys a lot of love. Definitely love the way you guys send some chats. Love the way you guys give your wrestling, future rumors and promos in terms of that. Also, remember to Superman punch that like and subscribe button to the show here at the GSMC Sports Network. We do love a lot of peace, love, and positivity, 1,010%, sorry, of the time. We're just going to reflect on what we talked about. We had our WWE NXT review, then we talked about our AEW Dynamite preview, and now we're going to talk about Stone Cold Steve Austin, the Rattlesnake, coming to WrestleMania 41. So yeah, it's going to do it. But obviously, before we get into that, you'll make sure you guys hit up that super chat, hit up those super stickers because you guys are super awesome. Together, we can make the GSMC Wrestling Laureate podcast. We can make it great again. I'm just kidding. No, I'm just kidding. No, that was probably I apologize for that. Yeah, just kidding. It's kind of funny, but overall. Definitely want to hear your guys' opinions. Want to hear your hot takes in terms of professional wrestling. Obviously, we can't keep this show going without you guys. So to keep the lights on and to keep this show that you guys love so damn much going, hit up that super chat box right under that dollar sign. And yeah, if the super chat thing isn't your thing, we can also, you can also hit up the tips and donations link at the GSMCpodcast.net. Shoot me your comments, questions, and concerns. Make sure your Superman punch that like and subscribe button to the show. Also, make sure you guys, just tell me how you feel. There's no right or wrong answers inside the chat. Be silly, be crazy. We're wrestling fans. So, I'm no judgment. I think it's like, no judgment like ever. All right. So we're going to talk about some Stone Cold Steve Austin. I'm just kidding on that. It was actually a pretty kick-ass song, to be honest. I love Stone Cold Steve Austin's theme song. Definitely one of my favorites because when you hear the glass shatter, you just know it's about to go down, dude. It's about to go down. No, Stone Cold Steve Austin, obviously, he was injured. His neck, he got injured by, I think there was a botched pile driver by Owen Hart. I think that was the case. I could be wrong. Don't quote me on that. But, Stone Cold Steve Austin could have been a lot more popular, I feel like. He did definitely retire a little bit too young. But, hey, when it comes to your neck, obviously nowadays we do have that neck fusion surgery that you have, you have Big E. You also have Kyle O'Reilly back in the mix. You see Bobby Roode training as well. So a lot of Super Edge came back. Brian Danielson came back when they were both told that, hey, dude, sorry, you can never wrestle again. And all of a sudden you get a call from your doctor. You're like, dude, you're medically cleared. Like, it's like, what? That's crazy. But, quite a turn of events there. So, Stone Cold Steve Austin, and, I definitely feel like he could have been more than he already was over the top in terms of being popular in terms of WWF/WWE. So, now let's talk about Stone Cold Steve Austin coming to WrestleMania 41. Stone Cold Steve Austin. Tyson and Austin, freaking Jim. Oh, I love Jim Ross. Jim Ross and, Stone Cold Steve Austin was awesome. The main event of WrestleMania 40 with John Cena and The Undertaker. There were speculations, they kind of helped Cody Rhodes out, and there were speculations that it was supposed to be Stone Cold Steve Austin. Obviously, when Austin was asked about helping Cody Rhodes, he was like, you know what, like I'll help Cody Rhodes again. Like, why not? Like, let's do it. If you need some backup, it's kind of crazy. Stone Cold Steve Austin told Adrian Hernandez in an interview. He said, and I quote, it was close, basically close, him coming to Philadelphia to WrestleMania. They certainly reached out to me, but my wife and I had some things going on. I didn't really have a chance to go to Philly. But if it being in Vegas, I hope, it'll be this year. Stone Cold Steve Austin, quote unquote, never says no to Vegas. Why not? Because he's a huge superstar. Everybody knows him. He's been in movies. I remember watching him in The Longest Yard in, that football movie it was a remake with Adam Sandler, and it was, Stone Cold Steve Austin. He was great. I feel like he was great inside of it. You had the Condemned. He was also in the Condemned as well. Hernandez mentioned Cody Rhodes, and Stone Cold Steve Austin had this to say, and I quote, he said, "If he needs another hand, I'll be there." You know, was kind of like what I was alluding to a little earlier that, I feel like he ultimately, was at first supposed to be there for Cody Rhodes. You had Stone Cold Steve Austin and The Rock feud a lot back in WWF in the 90s. That would have been huge. I feel like that would have been more of a spot than The Undertaker. But then you saw The Undertaker come because obviously I feel like they couldn't find a deal. They couldn't find a way to get Stone Cold Steve Austin. Maybe he was dealing with some personal issues. But ultimately, seeing Stone Cold Steve Austin return to the ring would have been, it would have been impactful. But you can't even downplay that because with the Undertaker and John Cena helping the WWE Undisputed Champion Cody Rhodes win that belt at WrestleMania 40. You can't really be mad at the outcome because it was beautiful. It was great. It was riveting. It was goosebumps. Goosebumps on the back of my hands to the back of my neck. It was absolutely amazing. Some of the best wrestling storytelling I have ever seen in my whole entire life as a wrestling fan. And that's exactly what they're doing today with the bloodline. With the bloodline 1,010%. They interviewed Paul Heyman and he said, honestly, this bloodline storyline is only in the third inning. A lot of people are like, what? That's crazy. I don't see how having this bloodline storyline stretched out could be beneficial for anybody on the main roster that, are members of the bloodline. Solo Sikoa, Jacob Fatu, Roman Reigns, Jamie and Jey Uso, maybe Zila Fatu, maybe Hikuleo, perhaps Tamatonga and Tagaloa. Just they're right now professional wrestling is kind of in a renaissance. It's kind of setting this new standard of professional wrestling and needing this kind of form of cinema. And it's absolutely, to the credit of Dwayne The Rock Johnson. Dwayne The Rock Johnson holds chairman position inside TKO Holdings, obviously in partnerships of the UFC. So then, obviously, with a lot of Hollywood background, you'd be like, you know what, I've kind of studied movies a little bit, like not to brag, but I've studied movies a little bit. I know how to get the fans hooked. I know how to kind of get them, grilling and waiting and fighting for more. So, 1,010%. Next, we see CM Punk also is open with the match with Stone Cold Steve Austin. Maybe I I honestly think maybe ever since the two had a badass promo backstage on Monday Night Raw back in 2011, people have had this Stone Cold Steve Austin taking on CM Punk match as a dream match. And I could definitely 1,010% see it. Obviously, anywhere you put Stone Cold Steve Austin, it's gonna be a banger. Um, but with CM Punk, with this whole thing with Drew McIntyre, it seems like it's kind of dragging on a little bit. I can't wait to see the way they kind of end it. I can't wait to see the way they end it. I feel like ultimately it'll be beneficial for both the superstars. I want to see Drew McIntyre go after Gunther. I do. I feel like he can ultimately dethrone Gunther for that WWE World Heavyweight Championship. And then you have CM Punk kind of go off and do his own thing. He has a feud with Seth. He has a feud with a couple of burdens that he's had in the past. Obviously, kind of being that bad boy, kind of being that against authority, kind of showing that middle finger right there to Vince McMahon. CM Punk was kind of like the nowadays, kind of Stone Cold Steve Austin. Obviously, it wasn't portrayed in terms of storylines and choreography in terms of, when he was doing his thing back in 2011. But Stone Cold Steve Austin, and CM Punk, they sat down. They sat down. They had an interview when CM Punk was absolutely fed up with the WWE. CM Punk, had talking about Ryback, talking about Triple H, saying "Oh, okay, cool, Vince McMahon's doofus son-in-law gets to take over. It's that's just CM Punk. That's just CM Punk 1,010%. And CM Punk is a superstar you do not want to see walk out your door because look at what happened to AEW. Look at that. Look at what happened with WWE when he came back. All this showing signs that CM Punk and Stone Cold Steve Austin could very much be kind of on the same level of popularity in terms of professional wrestling and stuff like that. So definitely thought that was super cool. CM Punk. Definitely, he said it's been on his dream list as well. The Rattlesnake admitted earlier that CM Punk would be a great option should he return to professional wrestling one more match. And CM Punk had this to say, and I quote, he said, "It's up to Steven. It's up to Steven, but he works to go, but if he wants to go to sleep, he can call me." Like, just trash talking, kind of crazy. Go ahead and leave me a chat if you think CM Punk will take on Stone Cold Steve Austin at WrestleMania 41. I think 1,010% it could be very much likely. It seems like both the superstars are on board to work with each other. I think the last time Stone Cold Steve Austin fought within a WWE ring, I think it was against Kevin Owens. I think it was, maybe. It was supposed to be against Kevin. I'm not too sure, but Stone Cold Steve Austin, definitely one of those talents who got injured. Definitely could have been bigger and better. If he never would have had that neck injury, he essentially had to call it quits. He was done. You're like, you know what? I don't want to get paralyzed. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's a real thing. It's a real thing. So I'm, obviously waiting on pins and needles to find out if we get more information about CM Punk taking on Stone Cold Steve Austin at WrestleMania 41. So, definitely, make sure you stay tuned to the GSMC Wrestling Laureate podcast to find about, more information in terms of that. All right, so our fourth segment, we're going to go ahead and talk about some Triple Mania XXX. Latin America has had 3 events over the span of the year. The recent one that took place was August 17th, where you saw, it was really big. It was really big in Mexico City. We're going to talk about that as soon as we come back. So, hey, do not go anywhere.